It looks like Burberry is having one of fashion's biggest turnarounds of recent years. Just 12 months ago, the story looked bleak. Under Jonathan Ackroyd, comparable retail sales plunged 21% in spring 2024. This was part of a broader revenue drop of more than 20%. Margins were squeezed, inventories were bloated, and social buzz had evaporated. Into that storm walked Joshua Schulman, appointed chief executive in July 2024. By November, he had unveiled the Burberry Forward plan, a back-to-basics blueprint aimed at turning the brand around, bringing coats, scarves, and disciplined pricing to the forefront. So I don't know if anyone remembers our previous video where we talked about what the hell was going on at Burberry, but there was a lot that seemed to not be working for the brand. The pricing did feel totally out of whack with market expectations, and that was one of the main issues that we were seeing. The design direction, especially new product development, felt a little contrived and somewhat outlandish, even performative. Well, Schulman's first act was creative restraint. He asked Daniel Lee to focus on classics like the trench coat. If you remember Christopher Bailey's era of Burberry, arguably the most successful era ever, it was very trench coat and outerwear heavy. It was all about those amazing interpretations of the traditional trench. And Burberry is, if nothing else, an outerwear brand. So outerwear now commands the store windows, and entry-level items like scarves, another iconic Burberry item, sit at eye level instead of those £3,000 totes and bags that no one cared about. And to that point around pricing, having a £3,000 bag being sold by Burberry forces the brand into that scary, competitive landscape of the Bottegas and the Loewe's, Louis Vuittons, even Ferragamo's or Chanel category. And we know a Burberry bag is not winning that fight, respectfully. So it was great to see Schulman focus on that creative restraint piece. Previous collections had been looking a little scattered. It didn't feel like Burberry in some cases. And a lot of the time, it was really hard to tell what brand it was. There was emphasis on so many different types of products that this was a very much needed change in direction. Next came a brand marketing refresh, headlined by a full throttle festival push. Branded wellies, packable rain smocks, and DJ tents landed at Glastonbury. Those activations powered Burberry back into List's Q2 2025 hottest brand rankings at number 17, edging out Gucci. So this incredible festival strategy was actually really key. The whole time Burberry have been in this weird phase, they've been performing these kinds of awkward interpretations of Britishness. And whilst quite honest, they're not glamorous or aspirational necessarily, especially if we're thinking about Burberry as an international brand. They've been okay, but kind of ordinary. Festival culture, however, Glastonbury, wellies and rain smocks immediately trigger in one's mind thoughts of one of the UK's biggest and best cultural exports, which is British music, and the iconic nature of the history of British music, from rock and roll to modern day grime. British entertainment is a global phenomena. And so that was just a way better and way more glamorous thing to tap into and align with. Much better than kind of promoting fry-ups at cafes or a tube takeover, like what the hell. Luxury consumers will always want glamour. They'll always have appetite for spectacle. Next, they brought experiences in store. So shoppers can now approach a dedicated counter lined with 200 hues of cashmere. So 200 scarf bars are scheduled worldwide as a result. Anything that's monogrammable is going to go triple platinum. It just feels like a very simple and much more aligned way to engage your audience and make them feel like shopping with you is a valuable experience and not just about securing the goods. But to fund all of this creativity and this big reboot, Schulman doubled annual savings targets to £100 million and devastatingly announced 1,700 job cuts, roughly 1/5 of the workforce. He also hinted at pruning some of the 422 global stores, trading square footage for productivity. As a result, the market has rewarded the plan, and Burberry shares have doubled in just 3 months. They are now outpacing brands like Moncler. And obviously, we're seeing the payoff with their presence in the List index. List track 200 million fashion shoppers. In that data, searches for Burberry Festival Jacket went up 68% quarter on quarter. Crucially, this popularity didn't revolve around these new fangled inventions of design that Daniel was pushing, proving that heritage icons are the way to go. People still love something iconic when framed through a lens of culture and history and modern day relevance. So what's next? New cashmere scarves start at £420, while limited edition trenches now top out near £2,500. So Burberry is courting those crucial first-time luxury consumers whilst not overlooking their prestige high-end luxury shopper. Geographically, Europe and the Americas are stabilizing, but Asia does remain quite muted. Comparable sales in China fell 9% last quarter, making it essential for the brand to re-engage tourists in key locations like London flagships. And tariffs are a bit of a nasty drawback too, that's probably going to impact the brand. The persistent US-China trade tensions could spark new tariffs that cause issues for pricing. And there have been whispers about potential acquisitions from LVMH or even Moncler should the turnaround not work. Schulman, however, has publicly talked about their commitment to remaining independent. Also, digital storytelling is ramping up. Daniel Lee is embracing more archive-driven visuals. They've also integrated a Vestiaire collective resale hub into Burberry.com, fueling their circular fashion narrative. Honestly, it's awesome to see the brand recovering. The previous changes were so disappointing, and it was really frustrating to see such an icon flailing like that. Ultimately, creativity does require some experimentation, and it is hard to do that in public. So it's great to see a recovery. This story is bigger than sales graphs. It's about how a century-old emblem can still resonate and evolve, winning back old fans and attracting new ones. Weaving heritage and hype together, Burberry's pivot shows that a legacy house survives when it ruthlessly focuses on its cultural superpowers, accesses the best version of the cultural cachet available, and meets customers where they feel most inspired. Thanks so much for watching. Please share your thoughts. What do you think of this recovery? Remember to like and subscribe. Until next time.